The Great Pyramid of Giza is the last surviving wonder of the ancient world, yet its deepest secrets are still sealed inside. For centuries, explorers have been captivated by this monumental structure, but its hidden chambers remain one of history's greatest puzzles. By the end of this investigation, you will understand the compelling evidence for what might lie in these unexplored spaces and how it could rewrite our understanding of ancient Egypt. We will explore a massive void detected above the Grand Gallery and the sealed shafts behind a mysterious limestone door. What do you believe is waiting to be found after all this time, built for Pharaoh Kufu over 4,500 years ago? The Great Pyramid was the tallest man-made structure in the world for millennia. Its sheer scale is a declaration of intent, a message carved in stone that we still struggle to read. The first major breach into this sealed world came in the 9th century, not by an archaeologist, but by the Abbasid Caliph Al-Mamun. His workforce tunneled roughly into the pyramid's north face, driven by tales of immeasurable wealth and secret knowledge. They eventually broke into a descending passage, but instead of finding treasure rooms, they discovered a labyrinth of narrow, claustrophobic corridors. They found what we now call the King's Chamber, a stark granite room holding only an empty, lidless stone box. They also discovered the Queen's Chamber, a misleading name given by later explorers, which was completely bare. The real treasure Al-Mamun's men found was far greater than gold. It was a mystery that would only deepen with time. Centuries later, figures like Napoleon Bonaparte stood inside its halls, captivated by its silence. The birth of modern Egyptology brought pioneers like William Flinders Petrie, who with painstaking precision mapped every known inch of the interior, establishing that the structure was built with an accuracy that rivals modern engineering. Yet for all this scrutiny, the official floor plan remains frustratingly incomplete. The known chambers and passages feel like a sparse, illogical arrangement for such a colossal effort. Why such a vast, complex shell for just a few empty rooms? This historical pursuit, from caliphs to scientists, has not given us answers so much as it has stripped away easy explanations. Each generation, convinced it has the final word, has instead left behind a longer list of questions, setting the stage for the modern hunt for what is still missing. The silence of the Great Pyramid was broken in 2017 by a whisper from the realm of subatomic particles. An international team of scientists known as the Scan Pyramids Project announced they had found something astonishing: a colossal empty space hidden deep within the stone. This was not a discovery made with hammers and chisels, but with an invisible rain of cosmic rays. The technique is called Muon tomography, and it works by detecting particles called muons that constantly shower the Earth from space. These particles pass through solid matter, but denser materials stop more of them. By placing special detectors inside the pyramid, the scientists could essentially take an X-ray of the structure, mapping where muons pass through easily, revealing empty spaces. This modern-day treasure map pointed to a void situated directly above the Grand Gallery, a cavernous passage leading to the King's Chamber. The empty space is immense, roughly 30 meters long, a hidden chamber the size of a passenger airliner tucked away in the very heart of the monument. The announcement, published in the prestigious journal Nature, sent a genuine shockwave through the world of archaeology. It was the first major new internal structure discovered in the Great Pyramid in over a century, proving that even this most studied of ancient wonders still had cards left to play. But what exactly is this void? The debate ignited immediately. One leading theory suggests it is a structural feature, a series of relieving chambers built to divert the incredible crushing weight of the pyramid's masonry away from the grand gallery below, preventing it from collapsing. This would mirror the construction above the king's chamber, where 5 such compartments were already known. Yet, the sheer scale of this new void leaves room for other, more tantalizing possibilities. Could it be a single, grand, and entirely sealed chamber? Might it hold artifacts, inscriptions, or even the original burial goods of Pharaoh Kufu, untouched for millennia? The very idea is enough to capture anyone's imagination. However, prominent figures like the renowned Egyptologist Zahi Hawass have urged caution, stressing that a shadow on a scan is not the same as a physical discovery. He and others call for more data, for careful and non-invasive investigation before we can truly understand what this space represents. This hidden void, whatever its purpose, fundamentally challenges our textbook models of the pyramid. It suggests that the architectural plan is more complex and layered than we ever suspected, a puzzle with pieces we did not even know were missing. The question hangs in the air, almost as tangible as the stone itself. What could this secret space tell us about the beliefs, the engineering, and the ultimate intentions of the people who built it? To answer that, we must first understand the incredible technology that pierced 4,500 years of solid rock to find it. While the cosmic ray scan revealed a hidden void on a grand scale, another mystery hides in the plain sight of a known chamber. Deep within the pyramid lies the Queen's Chamber, a room whose name is a historical misdirection. It almost certainly never held a queen, and its true purpose has perplexed experts for generations. The room itself is strikingly bare, but its walls hold a secret. 2 impossibly narrow shafts, each just 20 centimeters square, extend from the north and south walls, boring horizontally before angling upwards into the dark heart of the masonry. For centuries, their existence was completely unknown. They were not found by careful archaeology, but by accident in the 19th century, when a British explorer named Wayneman Dixon, investigating strange reverberations within the chamber, used a hammer and chisel to break through the wall, revealing the openings. These shafts were sealed at both ends, deliberately closed off from the world. The mystery only deepened at the turn of the 21st century. In 2002, a team led by engineer Rudolf Gantenbrink designed a specialized robot to crawl up the steep incline of the southern shaft. After a journey of 65 meters, the robot's camera sent back a breathtaking image. The shaft was blocked by a beautiful, polished limestone slab, fitted with 2 ornate copper handles. This was not a rough collapse of rubble, it was a crafted door intentionally placed. The world watched captivated as a small drill was used to bore a tiny hole through the stone. A camera was then fed through the opening, revealing only another small, empty space, and yet another limestone slab blocking the way. What lies beyond that second door remains one of the pyramid's most intimate and frustrating secrets. Why would the builders go to such extraordinary lengths to create and then seal these intricate tunnels? Prominent Egyptologists like Mark Lehner propose a deeply spiritual answer. He suggests these were not passages for the living, but symbolic conduits for the soul of the pharaoh. In ancient Egyptian belief, the dead king's spirit would ascend to the stars to join the gods. These shafts, perfectly aligned with specific celestial bodies, could have served as a physical representation of that cosmic journey, a ladder to the heavens built directly into the stone. Yet the presence of a tangible door with handles challenges a purely symbolic interpretation. A symbol does not need a handle. This implies a physical function, a space that was meant to be accessed at least once by someone or something. Could these shafts lead to a small ritual chamber containing sacred objects? Might they be part of a much larger, still hidden network of passages? These tiny corridors are a monumental puzzle, a clear sign that the pyramid's design holds layers of meaning we are only starting to perceive. To move from simply finding these secrets to truly understanding them, we had to develop tools capable of seeing through stone itself. Far below the polished corridors and grand chambers, the pyramid holds a secret of a different kind. The journey down the original entrance passage is a descent into raw, unfinished earth, leading to the subterranean chamber. This is a world away from the precise granite architecture above. Carved directly into the bedrock beneath the pyramid, the chamber is a rough, cavernous space that feels more like a mine shaft than a royal tomb. The air is heavy and still, and the walls are jagged, as if the workers simply stopped and walked away. At its center yawns a mysterious pit, a square shaft dropping into darkness, and from one wall extends a dead-end corridor that goes nowhere. This crude and seemingly incomplete space presents a puzzle that has tantalized explorers for centuries. In 1818, the bold Italian adventurer Giovanni Belzoni conducted the first modern excavation here. After clearing the chamber of rubble and debris, he became convinced that hidden passages must branch off from this lowest level. He even suspected the pit itself was a false bottom, designed to conceal a deeper, more important tunnel system. Modern technology has given surprising weight to his 19th-century hunch. Ground-penetrating radar surveys have scanned the bedrock around the subterranean chamber, and the results are intriguing. The data reveals distinct anomalies, areas where the solid limestone gives way to what appears to be empty space. These are not natural geological formations. Their shapes are too regular. They suggest the presence of man-made voids or tunnels, sealed and forgotten, radiating out from this subterranean hub. The stark contrast between this rough-hewn cavern and the exquisite precision of the upper pyramid is impossible to ignore. Why does the most perfectly aligned structure in the ancient world contain such a chaotic, unfinished core at its very foundation? One compelling theory posits that this chamber represents the very beginning of the construction project, an initial plan that was dramatically altered. The builders may have started digging down, intending to place the burial chamber deep within the earth, in a tradition common to earlier pyramids. Then, in a moment of breathtaking ambition, they changed their minds. They decided to build up, to reach for the sky, leaving the subterranean level as a ghost of the original design. Yet, its location at the very base, the root of the entire monument, suggests another, more symbolic purpose. Renowned Egyptologist Dr. Bob Breyer has explored the idea that this chamber was intentionally fashioned to represent the underworld, the dark and chaotic realm of the Egyptian god Osiris. In this ritual view, the pharaoh's journey to the stars would begin by first symbolically passing through this realm of death and rebirth. The pit might not be a discarded construction mistake, but a sacred well, a connection to the primordial waters of creation. This leads to the most tantalizing speculation of all. Could these unexplored tunnels beneath the Giza Plateau be connected to the legendary Hall of Records? This mythical library, spoken of in ancient texts, is said to contain the lost knowledge of a sophisticated precursor civilization. While mainstream archaeology remains skeptical, the persistent radar ghosts beneath the chamber keep the question alive. The pyramid's secrets are not confined to its hidden voids and deep pits. They also reach for the heavens, centered on the one part of the structure that has been missing for millennia. The silent stone of the pyramid's north face has finally begun to speak. In 2023, using the same revolutionary cosmic ray technology that found the Great Void, the Scan Pyramids team made another stunning announcement. They had detected a hidden corridor concealed directly behind the massive V-shaped limestone blocks known as chevrons. These chevrons, located just above the original entrance used by tourists for centuries, are not merely decorative. Their unique, angled construction has long puzzled experts, and now we know they were hiding something. This newly discovered passage runs for roughly 9 meters, a significant length, and sits just behind the stone facade. The global headlines were immediate, reigniting a public wonder not seen since the void's discovery. The Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities officially celebrated the find, calling it a major step in understanding the pyramid, while carefully noting its full purpose remains a mystery. So what is this corridor for? One leading practical theory is structural. It may have been a cleverly designed feature to redistribute the immense weight of the pyramid's masonry away from the original entrance, acting as a built-in architectural cushion to prevent the doorway from collapsing under thousands of tons of stone. Yet the possibility that captures the imagination is far more exciting. Could this passage have been an access route, a secret back door leading to another, still hidden chamber? The corridor's placement near the ceremonial entrance is highly suggestive. Archaeologists speculate it might connect to a storage area for the pharaoh's actual burial goods, items meant to be hidden away and protected forever. Or perhaps it leads to a small, sealed ritual space used only once during the king's funeral. This discovery forces us to look at the pyramid's exterior with new eyes. The smooth, iconic casing stones were not just a perfect skin, they were an active part of the deception, a flawless mask designed to conceal the building's true internal complexity. Each of these hidden corridors, whether above the Grand Gallery or behind the chevrons, reinforces a breathtaking idea. The Great Pyramid was not a simple tomb. It was a multifunctional machine, an intricate device serving engineering, spiritual, and perhaps even practical purposes we are only beginning to decode. The stone itself seems to be guarding its final secret, one that might be hidden in the most obvious place of all, the very top of the monument where something has been missing for thousands of years. The very stone of the pyramid was a spiritual technology. To understand why its builders would hide entire chambers, we must step into their worldview, where the boundary between architecture and religion simply did not exist. This was not just a tomb, it was a resurrection machine, a device engineered to transform a dead king into an immortal god. The hidden spaces we have been searching for were likely not storage rooms in a mundane sense, but sacred theaters for this ultimate transformation. Later pyramids from the 5th and 6th dynasties provide a crucial clue, their walls inscribed with spells known as the pyramid texts. These are the oldest religious writings in the world, and they describe a perilous journey. The pharaoh's soul had to navigate the Djedi, a dangerous underworld realm, to be reborn alongside the sun god Ra. The texts speak of rituals performed in sealed, pure places, spaces kept from the profane world. This strongly implies that the Great Pyramid, a more ancient and grander structure, would have contained similar, even more elaborate, sealed chambers for these cosmic rites. As the esteemed Egyptologist Dr. Salama Ikram explains, such spaces were not meant for human eyes. They were designed to protect powerful ritual objects or to serve as a physical representation of the Djedi itself, a dark, confined space where the king's spirit would undergo its symbolic death before emerging into the celestial light. This spiritual purpose is etched into the pyramid's very alignment. The southern shaft from the queen's chamber points directly toward the star Sirius, sacred to the goddess Isis. The northern shaft targets the circumpolar stars, which the Egyptians called the imperishable ones, the eternal resting place of their divine kings. These are not random holes in the wall, they are carefully aimed celestial sightlines. This profound astronomical connection suggests that any major hidden void, like the one above the Grand Gallery, could be the ultimate ritual chamber, the heart of the cosmic machine where the Pharaoh's soul was launched toward the stars of Orion's belt. So when we ask what lies in these unseen spaces, we are not just asking for a physical inventory. We are asking about the final stage of a 4,000-year-old ritual. The real treasure hidden within might not be gold, but the crystallized expression of a belief so powerful it moved mountains of stone. This search for meaning now drives us to develop tools that can peer into the sacred without causing it harm. The search for these sealed ritual chambers has forced us to invent new ways of seeing. We can no longer rely on the hammers and chisels of past explorers, methods that risked permanent damage to a priceless heritage. Instead, the modern hunt is conducted with a suite of silent, invisible technologies that peer through solid stone as if it were glass. Muon tomography, the cosmic ray technique that found the Great Void, is just one tool in this new arsenal. Scientists also use infrared thermography, which measures minute temperature differences on the pyramid's surface. When the sun heats the stones, internal voids cause subtle cool spots to appear on the thermal camera, like ghosts in the stone. Then there is ground-penetrating radar, which sends radio waves deep into the structure, listening for the faint echoes that betray a hidden hollow. These methods are revolutionary because they are fundamentally respectful. They allow us to search for secrets without leaving a single scratch. This collaborative effort, uniting institutions from Nagoya University in Japan to the French Heritage Innovation Preservation Institute under the Scan Pyramids banner, represents a new chapter in archaeology. It is a global scientific endeavor, not a treasure hunt. As Dr. Hani Helal of Cairo University, a key figure in the project, has stressed, the primary goal is to maximize discovery while minimizing any impact on the monument itself. The discovery of the void above the Grand Gallery stands as a stunning testament to the power of this approach, proving that even the most studied structure on Earth can still yield world-shaking surprises. Yet, each new scan and every tantalizing anomaly also raises profound ethical questions. What happens when we are certain a chamber exists? Do we drill a tiny camera hole, as was done with the shaft in the Queen's chamber, potentially introducing modern air and contaminants into a space sealed for millennia? Or do we simply map it and leave it be, preserving its mystery forever? This technological progress holds up a mirror to the past, forcing us to reflect on the often brutal methods of earlier explorers who carved their way into history. The echoes of modern detectors are a world away from the thunderous methods of the past. Long before Muon telescopes, the only way to find a secret was to force your way in. In the 9th century, Caliph Al-Mamun's men did not gently probe the pyramid. They attacked it with fire, battering rams, and vinegar heated to fracture the stone. Their brutal persistence carved the jagged tunnel that tourists now shuffle through, a permanent scar misnamed the Robber's Tunnel. Centuries later, the quest turned even more destructive. In the 1830s, the British explorer Richard William Howard Vyse, frustrated by dead ends and running out of time and funding, turned to gunpowder. He blasted his way upward, and the explosions did reveal a hidden space, the first of the relieving chambers above the king's chamber. Inside, he found quarry marks painted in red ochre, the name of the pyramid's builder, Kufu, a monumental discovery that finally confirmed the monument's ownership. But the cost was permanent. The chambers still bear the blackened scorch marks from his blasts, a stark reminder that the revelation came at the price of irreversible harm. These men were not villains in their own time. They were products of an era where the ancient world was seen as a prize to be claimed. Figures like Giovanni Battista Caviglia, who tirelessly cleared sand and debris from the Sphinx, operated with a relentless curiosity that walked a fine line between exploration and looting. Their legacy is deeply conflicted, a mixture of genuine discovery and profound loss. They uncovered physical proof, but in doing so, they destroyed the very context that could have made that proof more meaningful. This historical tension between curiosity and conservation defines the entire story of the pyramid. It forces us to ask a difficult question: how much damage is acceptable in the name of knowledge? The violent entries of the past stand as a permanent caution, a lesson etched into the stone itself. They teach us that the true challenge is not just to find what is hidden, but to approach it with a reverence that the builders themselves would have understood. This hard-learned respect now guides the silent, non-invasive technologies of the 21st century, ensuring that the final secrets of the Great Pyramid are revealed not with a bang, but with a whisper. The potential discovery of a new chamber forces a difficult choice upon us. Do we pierce the ancient stone to satisfy our curiosity, or do we let its secrets rest, preserved for all time? This is the central ethical dilemma facing modern archaeology. Respected global bodies like UNESCO firmly advocate for the latter, reminding the world that the Great Pyramid is not just an Egyptian treasure, but a World Heritage Site belonging to all of humanity. Their guiding principle is preservation first, a mandate to protect the monument's integrity, even if it means leaving some mysteries intentionally unsolved. Within the Egyptology community itself, leading figures like Dr. Zahi voice a similar powerful caution. He argues that any physical intrusion, no matter how small, must be a last resort, justified by near-certain evidence and executed with surgical precision to prevent catastrophic damage to artifacts that have survived for millennia. The risks are not theoretical. We have a clear, sobering precedent from another legendary discovery. When Howard Carter unsealed the tomb of Tutankhamun in the 1920s, the world marveled at the glittering gold and perfectly preserved objects. But that very act of opening the tomb initiated a slow, invisible decay. The sudden introduction of modern air, humidity, and even the dust from visitors' clothes began to degrade fragile organic materials that had been stable for over 3,000 years. Vibrant pigments on wooden statues faded, and delicate textiles started to weaken. This is the haunting lesson from the Valley of the Kings, that the moment of discovery can also be the beginning of the end for the very things we seek to understand. This profound responsibility now shapes every decision made at Giza. It pushes scientific teams to develop increasingly sophisticated non-invasive methods, treating the pyramid not as a puzzle to be broken open, but as a patient to be diagnosed with the gentlest touch possible. The ultimate question hangs in the balance. Is the fleeting triumph of knowing what is inside a hidden chamber worth the permanent cost of disturbing a sanctuary that has stood perfectly sealed for 45 centuries? Our answer will define not only how we uncover history, but what kind of legacy we choose to leave behind. The empty granite box in the king's chamber tells a story of absence. We call it a sarcophagus, but it has never held a king. The stark reality is that no mummy, no golden mask, not a single piece of burial regalia has ever been found inside the Great Pyramid. This profound void fuels a compelling theory that the chamber we call the King's is a decoy, and the true resting place of Pharaoh Kufu remains sealed and secret. Why would the greatest builder of the Old Kingdom leave his own eternal home so conspicuously vulnerable? The official floor plan seems almost designed to guide a looter straight to the prize. This has led researchers like the French architect Jean-Pierre Houdin to propose a radical idea. He suggests the pyramid's design is a masterpiece of misdirection, concealing a network of hidden chambers built specifically to protect the pharaoh's actual remains. Think of it as the ultimate security system. The known corridors and rooms are the public facade, while the real treasure, the king's mummy and his sacred grave goods, lie in a separate, architecturally camouflaged sanctum, perhaps deeper within the masonry or even carved into the bedrock far below. This is not pure speculation. We have a powerful precedent in the step pyramid of Djoser at Saqqara, a complex that contains a labyrinth of tunnels, shafts, and multiple burial chambers, demonstrating that the early pyramid builders were masters of subterranean complexity. If such a design principle was applied on a grander scale at Giza, the implications are staggering. Finding Khufu's intact tomb would be an event on par with the discovery of Tutankhamun's, but with one crucial difference. It would contain the burial of a pharaoh at the absolute zenith of pyramid-building power. The artifacts within would not just be treasures, they would be a time capsule from the very peak of the Fourth Dynasty, offering an unbroken record of religious texts, royal lineage, and daily life that could rewrite the history of ancient Egypt's Old Kingdom. This search for the final chamber is ultimately a search for the mind of the architect, a puzzle that challenges us to see the pyramid not just as a building, but as a three-dimensional riddle in stone. The Great Pyramid's flawless alignment to the stars is legendary, but its true secrets may lie in its imperfections. Walk into the Queen's chamber and you will feel it beneath your feet, a floor that slopes unevenly, a detail that seems utterly out of place in a structure famed for its precision. Why would the builders who aligned the entire pyramid to the cardinal points within a tiny fraction of a degree leave such a glaring irregularity? It is a clue, a whisper that the function of this room was something far more complex than a simple burial space. This is just one of many architectural riddles woven into the stone. Look up in the Grand Gallery and you see its magnificent corbelled ceiling, each layer of stone slightly overlapping the one below. While it certainly helps support the immense weight above, its unique shape creates a powerful acoustic effect. Chant a single note in that space, and the sound resonates, amplifies, and seems to hang in the air. Was this an intentional design, a chamber meant to transform ritual incantations into something transcendent? Then there are the girdle stones, massive granite blocks embedded within the ascending passages, their surfaces perfectly smooth and their purpose completely unknown. They were not merely structural supports. Their placement feels deliberate, almost like circuit breakers or tuning elements in a vast, silent machine. This has led engineers and researchers like Christopher Dunn to propose a theory that stands far outside mainstream archaeology. He suggests the pyramid was not a tomb at all, but a massive power plant, an energy device that harnessed the Earth's vibrations and converted them into usable power. In this view, the hidden chambers and precise shafts were not spiritual passageways, but resonant cavities and waveguides, part of a sophisticated technological system we are only beginning to comprehend. The Egyptology community largely dismisses such ideas as fringe speculation, pointing out there is no direct evidence for such advanced technology. Yet, the very existence of these theories underscores a profound truth about the Great Pyramid. Its design is so advanced, so filled with intentional anomalies, that it continually pushes us to question our most basic assumptions. These are not random mistakes. They are features. The pyramid challenges us to see it not as a static monument, but as a dynamic instrument. To understand what the builders truly intended, we must step back from our modern frameworks and immerse ourselves in the world they inhabited, a world where stone, spirit, and science were one and the same. This cultural obsession with secrecy was woven into the very fabric of their universe. For the ancient Egyptians, the cosmic order known as Maat was a fragile state, constantly threatened by chaos. Sacred knowledge was not for public consumption. It was a dangerous power reserved for the pharaoh and the priestly elite who acted as its guardians. To allow this knowledge to fall into the wrong hands or to let a royal tomb be violated was not merely a crime, it was a cosmic offense that could destabilize the entire world. The hidden chambers we search for were likely the ultimate expression of this principle, designed not just to hide a body, but to protect the very rituals that guaranteed the king's successful rebirth and, by extension, the continued harmony of Egypt itself. The pyramid texts, those ancient spells inscribed in later pyramids, are filled with references to veiled locations. They speak of secret chambers of the underworld and pure places kept from the gods themselves, spaces where the king's transformation would occur away from all impure sights. This was a spiritual need for concealment, a belief that the most sacred acts had to be performed in absolute seclusion to be effective, as noted by Egyptologist Dr. Ogden Golet. This mindset extended to practical security. The builders were masters of deception, likely constructing blind passages and decoy chambers not as afterthoughts, but as an integral part of the original architectural plan. Their goal was to create a labyrinth that would spiritually and physically mislead any intruder, guiding them toward empty rooms while the true sanctum remained sealed and forgotten. This changes the entire way we look at the pyramid's empty corridors and barren chambers. What if the king's chamber, with its prominent and easily found sarcophagus, was always meant to be discovered? What if it was the ultimate decoy, a grand theatrical set designed to convince robbers they had found the prize, while the real burial and its sacred artifacts lay hidden in a space with no obvious entrance, a chamber known only to a handful of initiated builders who took its secret to their graves? This profound cultural insight reframes our search. We are not just looking for rooms, we are looking for the most successfully hidden part of a 4,500-year-old security system. The real question then becomes, if we could peer past the stone, what specific treasures would this culture of secrecy have been designed to protect for all eternity? So what treasures would a culture of secrecy protect with such architectural genius? The possibilities waiting behind a hidden limestone door are as varied as they are profound. On one end of the spectrum, a newly discovered chamber might hold something surprisingly mundane. It could be a storage room for surplus building materials, a cache of copper tools used by the workers, or even a sealed space containing the simple wooden ramps and levers that facilitated the pyramid's own construction. These finds, while lacking in glittering drama, would be archaeological gold, offering an unprecedented window into the logistics of this ancient mega-project. Yet, the human imagination is irresistibly drawn to the extraordinary. For decades, a powerful legend has spoken of a hall of records, a hidden library said to contain the accumulated wisdom of a lost civilization like Atlantis. The psychic Edgar Cayce famously prophesied that such a hall would be found beneath the Sphinx's paw, filled with crystalline tablets and ancient papyri. While mainstream archaeology remains deeply skeptical of Atlantis, the core idea of a hidden repository of knowledge is compelling. Could a chamber hold advanced astronomical charts, precise mathematical treatises, or historical records detailing a forgotten epoch of human history? Such a discovery would not just add to our knowledge, it would shatter our current timeline. More grounded, and perhaps more likely, are theories based on what we have already found in other Egyptian contexts. A hidden sanctum could be filled with ritual objects meant to serve the pharaoh in the afterlife. Imagine a fleet of miniature ceremonial boats, similar to the solar barks found buried around the pyramid, designed to carry the king's soul across the sky with the sun god Ra. There could be sacred statues of deities like Osiris or Isis, crafted from ebony and gold, or alabaster jars containing the vital organs of the king, prepared for his journey. The discovery of the magnificent Kufu ship, a full-sized vessel perfectly sealed in a pit at the pyramid's base, is our greatest cause for hope. It proves that large, fragile, and incredibly significant artifacts can survive for millennia in the dry, stable environment beneath the Giza sand. This single find elevates every other speculation from pure fantasy to a tangible possibility. The emotional weight of such a discovery is almost unimaginable. To peer into a space untouched for 45 centuries and see the very objects arranged for a pharaoh's eternal voyage would be to bridge a chasm of time, connecting us directly to the minds and beliefs of the pyramid builders. Yet, this thrilling prospect is shadowed by immense practical challenges. The very act of opening a sealed chamber risks its contents. How do you safely extract a 4,000-year-old papyrus scroll that may crumble to dust upon contact with modern air? The treasure hunt is only the beginning. The real test is one of preservation. The final barrier to any hidden chamber is not just stone, but the monumental challenge of reaching it. Consider the reality of navigating the pyramid's interior. The ascending passage is a tunnel so narrow and steep that a person must climb it at a severe angle, and the idea of moving bulky equipment through it is almost unthinkable. Any significant disturbance to the delicate balance of these corridors could trigger a structural shift, potentially causing a collapse that seals the very secrets we hope to find. This is not a space designed for human explorers. The solution lies in robotics, but not just any machine. Engineers must design devices that are part mountaineer and part surgeon. They need to be incredibly compact, yet carry advanced sensors and cameras. They must move with a delicate touch, able to traverse crumbling limestone floors or scale vertical shafts without scraping the ancient walls. The Djedi robot mission, which successfully navigated the shafts in the Queen's chamber, set a powerful precedent. Its designers gave it a flexible snake arm that could peer around corners and a miniature ultrasonic drill that could sense the density of the stone door it was probing, all without leaving a mark. This is the level of finesse required. But even if a robot succeeds in reaching a chamber, a second, invisible threat emerges the moment a seal is broken. A space that has been stable for 45 centuries has its own perfect environment. The humidity, temperature, and air composition are in a fragile equilibrium, preserving any organic materials inside, whether they be wooden artifacts, textile fragments, or even ancient papyrus. The moment modern air floods in, that preservation ends. We saw this with King Tutankhamun's tomb, where vibrant paints cracked and fabrics deteriorated after exposure. To prevent this, any exploration would need to create a controlled environment, perhaps using an airlock system or even filling the chamber with an inert gas before entry. A logistical nightmare in a confined space deep within a mountain of stone. These technical hurdles are matched by equally daunting practical ones. A single mission like the Djedi project required a multi-year collaboration between universities in Leeds and Singapore and funding from global partners. Scaling this up to investigate the massive void above the Grand Gallery would demand a consortium of governments, a budget of millions, and a labyrinth of permits from the Egyptian authorities, all for a venture with no guaranteed return. It is this combination of physical risk, environmental fragility, and colossal cost that keeps so many of the pyramid's secrets locked away. The history of exploration here is a story of brilliant innovations born from the need to solve these very problems, pushing the boundaries of what is possible in the most restrictive environment on Earth. The Djedi robot mission offered a masterclass in modern archaeological restraint. In 2010, a specialized machine, no larger than a child's toy car, crawled into the impossibly narrow southern shaft of the Queen's chamber. It was a joint effort between engineers at Leeds University and Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, designed not to break through but to gently see beyond. Its most ingenious feature was a flexible, snake-like camera that could peer around corners without the need for forceful entry. When it reached the polished limestone door with its mysterious copper handles, it carefully fed this camera through the small hole drilled years earlier. The world held its breath as the first images from the other side came into view. Etched onto the inner surface of the stone were hieroglyphs written in red ochre paint, markings unseen for over 4,000 years. The camera also revealed what appeared to be metal pins, possibly part of an intricate locking mechanism that secured the door from the inside. This was not a random blockage. It was a crafted, intentional seal. The mission, documented in academic journals like the Annales du Service des Antiquités de l'Égypte, proved the shaft was not a ventilation duct or a construction byproduct. The red ochre symbols and the precise engineering of the door and pins pointed toward a profound symbolic purpose. This was a pathway designed with ceremonial care, perhaps meant to be sealed for all eternity after a single sacred use. Despite having the capability, the Djedi team made a crucial decision. They chose not to penetrate the second door. The risk of damaging the fragile, painted inscriptions or compromising the structural integrity of the shaft was too great. This single act of leaving the mystery intact defined the mission's success more than any discovery could have. Djedi proved that our greatest tool for unraveling the pyramid's secrets is no longer the battering ram, but patience. It demonstrated that minimally invasive technology can extract profound knowledge without extracting a single stone. The mission's true legacy is the roadmap it provides. Future robotic explorers, equipped with even more sensitive tools, can now approach the pyramid's other hidden spaces, like the massive void above the Grand Gallery, with the same reverence. The question is no longer just what we might find, but how we can finally look without causing the past to crumble at our touch. The polished limestone door with its copper handles is a real archaeological puzzle, but in the world of popular culture, such a mystery is often solved with a dramatic flourish. Hollywood has long been captivated by the pyramids, transforming their silent corridors into stages for adventure. Films like The Mummy portray these ancient spaces as booby-trapped labyrinths, hiding cursed treasure and supernatural forces, while best-selling authors like Erich von Däniken have popularized the idea that the structures were built with alien technology. These narratives are undeniably entertaining, weaving a tapestry of ancient astronauts and forgotten magic that captures the imagination. Yet, this very appeal presents a significant challenge to scientific inquiry. When the line between blockbuster fantasy and archaeological fact becomes blurred, it can promote pseudoscientific ideas that, while compelling, lack any empirical foundation. The constant repetition of these themes in books, games, and television shows creates a powerful echo chamber, making it difficult for the public to distinguish between established research and speculative fiction. Even documentary programming sometimes falls into this trap, sensationalizing a new radar anomaly as a certain hidden chamber or framing every discovery with the breathless promise of a world-changing revelation. This creates a gap between what archaeologists meticulously uncover and what the public expects to find. As space archaeologist Dr. Sarah Parcak often emphasizes, separating fact from fiction is not about dismissing wonder, but about grounding our understanding in verifiable evidence. She cautions that unfounded theories, however exciting, can divert attention and even funding from legitimate research that slowly, methodically pieces together the past. Despite these challenges, this widespread popular fascination has an undeniable upside. The global appetite for pyramid mysteries fuels public interest, which in turn drives tourism, generates funding for scientific projects, and inspires a new generation of Egyptologists. It is a complex, often contradictory, relationship where entertainment and education are deeply intertwined. The excitement generated by a fictional adventure can be the very thing that leads a young person to pick up a history book. Navigating this landscape requires a balanced approach, one that celebrates the mystery without abandoning the tools of science. The real treasure may be learning to appreciate the pyramid for what it truly is, a human achievement so profound that it continues to inspire both our wildest dreams and our most rigorous investigations. A newly opened chamber would send ripples far beyond the world of archaeology, straight into the heart of Egypt's economy. The global media frenzy surrounding such a find would be instantaneous, translating into a powerful magnet for international tourism. We saw a clear preview of this effect in 2023, when the announcement of the hidden corridor behind the Chevrons triggered a measurable surge in visitors to the Giza Plateau. Hotels in Cairo filled, local guides found more work, and souvenir vendors saw their fortunes rise. For a nation where tourism is a cornerstone of the economy, a major discovery inside the Great Pyramid is not just an academic triumph, it is a powerful economic stimulus package from the ancient world. This revenue is vital, funding not only further research but also the ongoing preservation of Egypt's vast and fragile heritage sites. Yet, this influx of wonder and wealth carries an inherent risk. The same feat that bring economic life can also bring physical decay. Imagine the delicate limestone passages of the pyramid, already worn smooth by centuries of visitors, facing a sudden, massive increase in human traffic. The humidity from our breath, the subtle vibrations from our footsteps, and the sheer pressure of crowds could accelerate erosion in ways that are difficult to reverse. The very act of celebrating a discovery could threaten the monument that made it possible. This creates a complex dilemma for the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. How do you share a new wonder with the world without loving it to death? The answer lies in a deliberate shift toward sustainable tourism. This means investing in advanced visitor management systems like timed ticketing and restricted daily numbers to control crowd density. It requires building new infrastructure such as viewing platforms and improved pathways that protect the monument while enhancing the public experience. The government's strategy often involves a careful partnership with international scientific teams. These collaborations, like the Scan Pyramids project, are masterclasses in balancing pure research with public engagement. The scientists get access to conduct their non-invasive scans, and in return, the Egyptian authorities gain a powerful new story to tell the world. A discovery becomes a tool for cultural diplomacy, fostering global goodwill and positioning Egypt as a custodian of human history. This economic dimension forces us to see archaeology in a new light. It is not an isolated pursuit of the past, but a dynamic force with real-world consequences in the present. It supports local communities, funds national conservation, and educates generations. The silent stones of the pyramid, it turns out, have a very loud voice in the modern world. This intricate dance between discovery and preservation will only become more complex as the tools for finding secrets grow ever more powerful. The next leap in pyramid exploration may not require a single step inside. Quantum sensing, a technology once confined to physics laboratories, is now being adapted to peer into the ancient stone with a clarity we have never before possessed. Unlike current methods that detect large voids, quantum gravimeters can measure infinitesimal changes in the Earth's gravitational field. Imagine being able to weigh the pyramid from the outside, sensing the minute gravitational difference between a solid block of limestone and a hidden room filled with air or even artifacts. This could allow researchers to create a three-dimensional density map of the entire structure, revealing not just the existence of a chamber, but hints about its contents. distinguishing between a stack of papyrus scrolls and a cache of ceremonial metalwork. Alongside this, artificial intelligence is being trained to analyze the mountains of geophysical data, and our eye can process millions of radar reflections and muon detections, identifying subtle patterns and correlations that the human eye would inevitably miss, potentially uncovering architectural features we do not even know to look for. The robotic explorers of tomorrow are also evolving. Engineers are developing nanodrones, machines small enough to fly through the narrowest shafts, equipped with laser scanners and chemical sniffers that could map a sealed chamber and analyze the air for traces of ancient wood, resin, or ink without ever landing. These are not distant dreams. Collaborative projects are already forming between institutions like CERN, which specializes in particle physics, and archaeological bodies, aiming to build the next generation of muon telescopes with vastly higher resolution. Tech giants like IBM and Google are exploring partnerships to create hyper-detailed virtual reconstructions. Soon, anyone with a computer might be able to take a guided digital tour through a perfect model of the pyramid, visiting the Great Void or standing before the sealed door in the Queen's Chamber shaft, all from the comfort of home. This technological promise, however, hinges on a different kind of architecture, the architecture of global cooperation and funding. These tools are expensive, requiring a shared commitment from governments, private industry, and academic institutions worldwide. The future of discovery is being shaped in labs and boardrooms as much as in the desert sands. We are approaching an era where the greatest secrets of the ancient world may be revealed not by breaking down doors, but by building bridges between the science of the future and the silence of the past. The silent stones of Giza have become a global conversation. Unlocking the pyramid's secrets is no longer a solitary quest, but a symphony of international expertise, where Japanese particle physicists, French engineers, American roboticists, and Egyptian archaeologists work in concert. This fusion of diverse knowledge is the engine behind modern discoveries. The Scan Pyramids project is a perfect example of this synergy. It was the unique combination of French infrared thermography and Japanese muon detection technologies that first revealed the Great Void, a finding that neither team could have achieved in isolation. This collaboration extends far beyond data collection. When a new anomaly is detected, Egyptologists from Cairo University provide the crucial historical context, interpreting the raw data through the lens of ancient texts and known construction techniques. This cross-pollination of ideas prevents narrow interpretations and pushes the entire field forward. Yet, such partnerships are not without their delicate moments. They require navigating complex diplomatic channels and aligning different national research standards and publication practices. The goal is always a respectful exchange, where the host nation's stewardship is honored and the shared scientific mission remains paramount. This global dialogue finds its formal voice in international conferences, where researchers from every corner of the world gather to debate the meaning of a new scan or the function of a hidden shaft. These are not dry academic meetings, they are lively, sometimes heated, forums where a single red ochre mark photographed by a robot can spark a re-evaluation of decades of established theory. This collective endeavor underscores a profound truth: the Great Pyramid does not belong solely to Egypt. It is a chapter in the story of human achievement, a monument that inspires a shared sense of wonder across all cultures. Its mysteries are a puzzle for our entire species to solve together, pushing us to look past borders and combine our brightest minds. This unified search for understanding naturally leads us to one of the pyramid's most enduring and precise marvels: its breathtaking celestial alignment. The pyramid's perfect alignment with the stars is not a lucky guess, but a deliberate act of cosmic architecture. Its sides are oriented to the 4 cardinal points with an accuracy of less than a single degree, a feat that would challenge modern surveyors even with satellite technology. This precision extends far beyond the Earth, pointing directly to the heavens. The 3 massive pyramids of Giza are arranged on the ground in a pattern that eerily mirrors the 3 stars of Orion's belt in the constellation Orion. This is the heart of the Orion correlation theory, popularized by researcher Robert Bovell. He proposed that the ancient Egyptians built a terrestrial map of the sky, a sacred landscape where the pharaoh's soul would embark on its final journey. In this celestial blueprint, hidden chambers are not random voids, but essential points on a star chart. If the known chambers represent certain stars, then logically, the undiscovered spaces we are searching for could be the missing pieces of this astronomical puzzle, positioned to complete the constellation. Imagine a sealed room located not for structural necessity, but to mirror the position of a specific, important star in the Egyptian night sky. Such a chamber might not hold a sarcophagus, but instead contain ancient star maps etched into the walls or refined observational instruments used to track the heavens. This transforms the pyramid from a static tomb into a dynamic instrument, an observatory and a ritual machine combined. The Grand Gallery, with its steeply sloping floor, could have served as a massive sighting tube for observing the transit of certain stars, its length calibrated for astronomical measurements. Of course, skeptics argue that such patterns can emerge by chance when you have a vast canvas of stars and a large structure. They question whether the correlation is a true reflection of ancient intent or a modern projection onto an ancient plan. Yet, the sheer mathematical consistency throughout the pyramid's design makes coincidence feel like a weak explanation. This celestial connection elevates the entire search, infusing it with a sense of grandeur. We are no longer just looking for a hidden room, we are searching for a lost piece of the cosmos, a chamber that completes a 4,500-year-old model of the universe. This profound quest has captivated brilliant minds for generations, individuals who have staked their entire careers on a single, revolutionary idea. The heat inside the pyramid is a constant presence, a dry stillness that has witnessed centuries of human curiosity. For the modern explorers who venture into its depths, the work is far from the glamour of Hollywood. It involves long hours in cramped, dusty passages, meticulously setting up sensitive equipment that must function perfectly in an unforgiving environment. Dr. Kate Spence, an archaeologist who has dedicated years to studying the pyramid's celestial alignments, speaks of the profound emotional weight that settles on you within those stone walls. She describes it as a feeling of immense responsibility, a sense that you are part of a conversation with the past that stretches back for millennia. Every new measurement, every tiny scratch or mark on the stone, feels like a sentence in a story we are only just learning to read. The frustration of a dead end is palpable, but so is the electric thrill of a breakthrough, a moment that makes the weeks of patient effort instantly worthwhile. This human element is the quiet engine of every discovery. On the front lines of technological innovation, the challenges are equally intense. Dr. Robert Richardson, the robotics expert who led the engineering for the Djedi mission, recalls the immense pressure of operating a multi-million-dollar machine in a space where a single wrong move could cause irreparable damage. He shares a story from the mission's most critical moment, when the robot snake arm camera was about to peer behind the sealed limestone door for the very first time. The team had spent years designing, testing, and troubleshooting, but in that final instant, everything came down to a single, fragile video feed. When the first clear images of the red ochre hieroglyphs appeared on their monitors, the control room, thousands of miles away from the pyramid itself, erupted in a collective gasp. It was not just a technical success, it was a moment of pure, unadulterated connection. These personal accounts remind us that data points and scan results are only part of the story. The real narrative is woven from human passion, from the stubborn perseverance of individuals who choose to spend their lives listening for whispers in the stone. Their work, a blend of cutting-edge science and ancient wonder, forces us to see the pyramid not as a static puzzle, but as a living part of our shared human history, a monument that continues to challenge and inspire those brave enough to seek its truth. That same stone that guards spiritual secrets also holds the blueprints for an engineering miracle. The Great Pyramid is a mountain of 2.3 million individual blocks, some weighing as much as 80 tons. Moving and placing these stones with such breathtaking accuracy is a logistical puzzle that has baffled experts for centuries. How did a Bronze Age society achieve a level of precision that would challenge modern builders? The answer might be sealed inside those very hidden chambers we are searching for. While we debate theories of massive straight ramps, clever internal spiral ramps, or even water-filled canals used to float the blocks upward, the pyramid itself may hold the construction notes. An untouched void could preserve the ultimate evidence tool marks left by the final workers, inscriptions detailing the day's progress, or even a cache of the original copper chisels and wooden sledges used in the construction. Such a discovery would be like finding the project manager's logbook for the world's most ambitious building site. The engineering is not just about moving stone, but about managing the immense, crushing weight. Engineers like Craig B. Smith have modeled the pyramid's brilliant stress distribution. He and others suggest that the hidden chambers we are detecting, particularly the massive void above the Grand Gallery, may not be empty rooms at all, but sophisticated structural features. They could be a complex network of gaps and braces specifically designed to redirect thousands of tons of pressure away from the fragile inner chambers, acting as a built-in shock absorption system that has kept the structure intact for 45 centuries. This ancient understanding of physics is humbling. It suggests the builders possessed a deep, intuitive knowledge of load-bearing mechanics, designing a structure that was not only monumental but eternally stable. Every hidden space we uncover is another chapter in their engineering manual, a testament to a forgotten school of architectural genius that fused raw power with delicate balance. This legacy of innovation is not locked in the past. It echoes in the work of modern architects who study the pyramid's perfect proportions and earthquake-resistant qualities for inspiration. The silent stones of Giza still have lessons to teach us about durability and design, proving that the greatest mysteries often reveal the most practical truths. And this single site's enduring puzzle inevitably draws our gaze outward, to the other magnificent and mysterious structures scattered across our planet. This architectural impulse to conceal sacred spaces echoes far beyond the sands of Egypt. Deep beneath the Avenue of the Dead in Teotihuacan, Mexico, archaeologists have mapped a labyrinth of hidden tunnels and chambers, their walls shimmering with pyrite dust to mimic a starlit night sky. These were not built for storage, but for ritual, serving as a symbolic underworld where priests could commune with the gods. On the other side of the world, within the vast necropolis guarding China's first emperor, the terracotta army stands in silent ranks. Yet the true heart of the complex remains unexcavated, a sealed underground palace described in ancient texts as a miniature universe with pearl-filled ceilings and rivers of flowing mercury, designed to protect the emperor's journey in the afterlife. These sites, separated by continents and cultures, share a profound commonality with Giza. They reveal a pattern, a recurring architectural language where the most sacred knowledge and the most powerful rituals were deliberately placed out of sight, protected by stone and secrecy. Even within Egypt itself, the pattern holds. The bent pyramid at Dosha, a direct predecessor to the Great Pyramid, was recently scanned to reveal a network of internal voids, mirroring the very structural or ritual chambers we suspect in Khufu's monument. This suggests a sophisticated, evolving tradition of hidden architecture within the Old Kingdom, a school of design where what you could not see was just as important as what you could. Why would cultures with no possible contact independently arrive at the same solution? The answer seems to lie in a shared human instinct. From the pyramids of Mesoamerica to the tomb mounds of China, the most profound elements of life and death, of power and the cosmos, were deemed too potent for the public eye. They required a veil, a boundary between the mundane and the divine. Recognizing this universal trait fundamentally changes how we view the Great Pyramid. It is no longer an isolated anomaly, but a brilliant, grand-scale example of a global phenomenon. It was part of a worldwide ancient conversation about how to build a bridge to the gods, a conversation conducted in the secret language of hidden chambers. This broader context arms us with a clearer lens, one that is crucial for separating the compelling patterns of history from the seductive myths that so often cloud our view. The idea of alien architects or lost super-civilizations building the pyramids is a compelling story, but it crumbles under the weight of scientific evidence. For decades, sensational books and television shows have promoted these theories, suggesting that the hidden chambers we have discussed must contain otherworldly technology or the records of Atlantis. Yet, the actual archaeological record tells a different, and in many ways more impressive, story. Radiocarbon dating of organic material like charcoal from the Giza Plateau consistently places the construction firmly in the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, around 2500 BC. The quarries for the massive limestone blocks are found just next to the pyramid complex, and the remnants of workers' settlements nearby reveal a highly organized society capable of feeding and housing thousands of skilled laborers. These were not slaves toiling under a whip, but well-fed Egyptian citizens who left behind bakeries, infirmaries, and even graffiti tagging their work crews. This tangible evidence, painstakingly gathered by archaeologists over decades, paints a picture of a fully human achievement. Esteemed Egyptologist Dr. Mark Lehner has spent his career systematically dismantling these pseudoscientific claims. He explains that the pyramid's precision, while astounding, is a product of ingenious but entirely earthly techniques like water-filled trenches for leveling and simple sighting tools for alignment. There is no evidence for hidden energy devices or levitating stones, only the profound ingenuity of a society that mastered its environment. Dispelling these myths is not about dismissing wonder, it is about redirecting it. When we attribute the pyramids to aliens, we inadvertently strip the ancient Egyptians of their greatest legacy. The real marvel is that humanity, with the tools of the Bronze Age, conceived and constructed a monument that has endured for 45 centuries. This clarity is liberating. It allows us to focus our awe on the genuine, unresolved mysteries, like the true purpose of the Great Void or the meaning behind the sealed shafts, and to approach them with the respect they deserve. Our brains are hardwired to light up at the hint of a secret. This deep psychological pull is the real engine behind our 4,000-year obsession with the pyramids. Cognitive science reveals that when we encounter an unsolved puzzle like a hidden chamber, our minds treat it like a quest. The very act of searching for an answer triggers a release of dopamine, the same neurological reward chemical associated with pleasure and motivation. This is not a passive interest, it is an active biological drive. We are rewarded for our curiosity, which keeps us locked in a state of engagement, constantly craving the next clue. This explains the electric public response to every new discovery announcement. When the Scan Pyramids team revealed the Great Void, the wave of global excitement completely dwarfed the cautious skepticism of experts. People were not just interested in the data, they were emotionally invested in the story. There is a universal hunger for wonder that a simple, solved mystery cannot satisfy. The unfinished nature of the pyramid story is precisely what makes it so compelling. It is a puzzle that refuses to be solved, a door that remains tantalizingly shut, and our minds simply cannot let that go. This psychological dimension bridges the cold facts of archaeology with the warm pulse of human emotion. The search for what lies beneath the stone is not merely an academic exercise. It is the fulfillment of a fundamental human need to explore, to push beyond the known, and to feel the thrill of the chase. This enduring allure ensures that the pyramid is more than a relic. It is a living conversation between the past and our perpetual sense of wonder, a dialogue that we are now passing on to the generations who will follow us. The final secret of the Great Pyramid may be the legacy we choose to leave behind. We are temporary guardians of a monument that has stood for 45 centuries, and the decisions we make today will echo for generations to come. This is not just about preserving stone, it is about safeguarding the sense of wonder that the pyramid ignites in a child seeing it for the first time, whether in person or through a virtual reality headset. Educational initiatives that bring three-dimensional scans into classrooms worldwide are transforming how we teach history, turning dusty artifacts into interactive puzzles. These tools do more than convey facts. They spark the kind of insatiable curiosity that leads a student to become the next Mark Lehner or Zahi Hawass, dedicating their life to unraveling the past. The meticulous, patient work of scanning for hidden chambers itself becomes a powerful lesson. It demonstrates to young scientists that the greatest discoveries are not always made with force, but with perseverance, collaboration, and respect for the subject. This long-term perspective challenges our modern obsession with immediate results. The pyramid builders worked on a timescale spanning decades, investing in a future they would never see. In our own search for hidden chambers, we are asked to adopt a similar vision. Do we rush in for a quick answer, or do we invest in slower, non-invasive technologies that preserve the mystery for our grandchildren to solve with tools we cannot yet conceive? This is the ultimate balance, honoring the builder's sacred intentions while carefully satisfying our own human need to discover. The pyramid's true legacy is not a list of its hidden rooms, but its enduring power to teach us about time, responsibility, and our own small place in the vast story of humanity. The evidence points not to one single answer, but to a complex architectural masterpiece built with layers of intention. We now know with scientific certainty that the pyramid is not a solid mass of stone. The colossal void above the Grand Gallery, the corridor behind the chevrons on the north face, and the maddeningly sealed shafts in the Queen's chamber are all confirmed anomalies, their empty volumes mapped by cosmic rays and radar. Yet a shadow on a scan is not a story. The true purpose of these spaces remains locked away, a matter of intense and fascinating debate. The prevailing academic view, grounded in decades of research, leans toward practical and spiritual explanations. These hidden areas likely served as brilliant weight-relieving structures, symbolic passageways for the king's soul, or sealed ritual chambers meant to remain pure and untouched. The idea of these voids containing golden treasures or alien artifacts is a compelling fiction, but the reality they guard is in many ways more profound. They are the physical expression of a belief system that fused engineering with the cosmos, a system we are still struggling to fully comprehend. The gaps in our understanding are themselves a kind of discovery. They remind us that our textbook models of the pyramid are incomplete, that this ancient wonder still has the power to humble modern science. This synthesis is not an end point, but a new beginning. It charts a course for the future, where patient, non-invasive technologies will continue to peel back the layers of this 4,500-year-old mystery, not with force, but with a respectful and persistent curiosity. Our exploration of the Great Pyramid's hidden chambers reveals a structure that is far more than a tomb. It is a profound conversation between human ambition and the cosmos, a machine built from stone, spirit, and starlight. We have journeyed from the rough-hewn depths of the Subterranean Chamber, through the resonant silence of the Grand Gallery, and up to the very edge of a void mapped by cosmic rays. Each technological leap, from the gunpowder blasts of the past to the Muon telescopes of the present, has not given us final answers, but has instead peeled back another layer of a deeper, more beautiful mystery. The pyramid teaches us that the greatest discoveries are not in points, but invitations. They invite us to look closer, to question our assumptions, and to approach the past with a humility that matches our curiosity. This enduring enigma is a gift, a puzzle that refuses to be solved, ensuring that the wonder it inspires will never grow stale. The real treasure hidden within the Great Pyramid is not a chamber of gold, but the relentless human drive to seek, to understand, and to connect with the minds of those who came before us. That quest is now in our hands. How we choose to continue it with patience and respect will be our own legacy to the future. Thank you for joining this investigation into what still lies hidden within the world's most iconic monument.